Hello and welcome in. I am Miss Kinghorn and we are back here in our Red Lane Zoo in Planet Zoo. And yes, we are back working on the Cream Family Farm area of our zoo. And this time we are getting in the exhibition animals. Now, there are 4 of them going in here and I wanted to kind of try and do something a little bit different with these. I have to be honest, this is attempt number 4, possibly 5. I struggled. So this is not what I originally wanted. This is not what plan B was. Or C, this is basically I have to come up with something. And I thought a nice little dome in here would be a nice way of doing it into here. So yes, that's what we're working on. I mean, you've seen the screenshots, you've seen the cinematics at the beginning, so you kind of know what we're working on here. Yeah, just to try and get the dome to work, I have to be honest, it took a while. I'm not the strongest when it comes to domes, and you'll sort of see me here. I really do struggle. There is a little bit of cutting and editing. I have to be fair, and I apologise for that. I do tend to let my Planet Zoo videos roll, and you kind of see a little bit more with them than you do in my Sims videos. Unfortunately, this video, it took a while. I recorded everything for this, whereas I don't think I normally do record everything. So I had a lot of footage left at the end, and that meant that I had to be kind of selective. So you can sort of see how I created the first panel, and then magically it is all done all the way around in here. And because the 4 individual exhibition animal habitats here, or boxes, are their own separate blueprint, it does try and make this quite difficult in working out like what pieces are attached to what and stuff. So some things might be a little bit janky, so anyway, we have got in the cladding that we've got on all of the other buildings as well, so it's very much in keeping with this. I do actually put a flat roof on it. I kind of, I looked at it and went, can I get a pitched roof? No, it's best just to go for a straight roof. To be fair, everything in the zoo so far has got a flat roof, so it's not quite so out of place that it needed a pitched roof. It was just a case of I don't really know how I'm going to be able to get one to work on here, but yes. No, we do also have a sort of a lot of education stuff in here as well, so I wanted this sort of big step kind of around the front of here. It's just so that if like you have young kids and stuff and then you just need that little extra step up to help them see the animals a little bit more, I thought this would be a really nice, simple way of doing it in here where it's not quite so obvious, but it's also very much there, and I feel like kids would just naturally kind of use it anyway. So that's kind of why I wanted to put it in there. I've also got in some like little bolts and things like that to kind of make it look a little bit more sturdy and things like that as well. We have got our white plaster beams going across the ceiling as well, just to give that a little bit extra sort of support and things like that. And you'll sort of see here are the animals. So all 4 of them in here are from the either North America or South America. So you can see in here we have the turpin, which is a nice water habitat in here, changing in, getting all of the different sort of trees and things like this. This one in there, I missed that. This one is the Brazilian salmon tarantula. So yes, there are spiders, but I don't get in too close with any of them in here. And then fixing out all of like the different backgrounds and stuff like that for them and making them all perfect. Now they are a little bit samey, barring this one that obviously has the water in it. I have to say, I spent a long time trying to actually find these animals, because I came back into this probably about 2 days later and I could not find anything. These animals are so well camouflaged in their habitat that it was impossible to find them. I ended up having to use like the finder kind of tool in there, but just with my own eyes I could not see them. So there's probably maybe a few too many plants in there. The guests might not like it, but I feel like these animals need a little bit more privacy. They're in quite a confined space. Some of them are in like breeding pairs. Some of them, I think there's one animal that has 4 of them, but then they can work together in like a larger kind of area or with more animals, so that's fine in there. And obviously I've done the temperature, humidity, plants, lighting, all of that is in there for them as well, so they all are happy. You know, you do see that the staff area hasn't been updated. I haven't done that just yet. You'll sort of see when I do that. When I get into a recording kind of block, things like the staff I don't really worry about. I come back to do that later on. Usually when I take like screenshots and stuff like that, and I actually then have to sort of look in on them and realise that, oh, they're hungry because there's no keepers attached. Things like that. Actually talking of that, I have had to replace quite a few of the Highland cattle. You might just sort of see them in the background that we did last week. If you haven't seen that video, I will put a card up in the top corner for you, so definitely go and check that one out. But yes, I had to replace them all because, as per usual, I forgot to put a water fountain down. And yeah, they needed replacing. Let me put it that way. Anyway, back to this build in here. As I say, lots of education in here. So each of the 4 habitats have their own little screen. And then I wanted these larger kind of boards in here as well, showing different kind of pieces in here, kind of relating to the different things and stuff like that as well. And then I wanted a nice little sitting area. So this does have a path running through it, so your guests will walk through and they can have a look obviously at all of the different animals. But I also wanted to have like educational sort of shows. I feel like with these animals especially, I kind of picked them so that they could be handled. So, you know, like you could go to a zoo and they have like snake holding, or they would have feeding certain animals, that sort of thing. I feel like that's something I really wanted to do in here, especially more kind of kid related, because this is obviously the family farm aspect to this. So I really wanted to do something very, very similar for these kind of habitats in here, and I feel like this was a perfect place to get it in. Now we have covered up the new barnyard seat kind of hay bales in here. I felt like they could really do with some nice little coverings, so I've just put in some wooden beams on those. Only the 4 at the very front are actually usable. The ones behind are just like the frames. There's no actual seat in there, but there is actually another path that runs around the back, so your guests do occasionally clip it. You might see that in the screenshots and the cinematics at the end. But I wanted a nice large area for your guests to sort of sit down, be part of the show. Maybe like the adults are at the back while like they've sent the kids forward to touch the snakes or the terpenes and things like that, just to kind of get them a little bit closer to the animals. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head. I haven't really seen too many people do educational kind of areas like this in Planet Zoo, so I was going off of sort of experience and having a look and sort of what's online, and it's quite difficult, I've got to be honest. I kind of really struggled with how to get this to all work into here as well. But yes, you can see here the roof is done. So because the paths were kind of all over the place, I ended up having to put a path covering down. So it's just plasterboards on the sort of bottom, and then I've just raised all of that up to the top as well. And the educational sort of table where they would have like all of these animals out on display, that also has support columns that go up to the ceiling, so it is supported in the middle as well. And I feel like that's probably a better, safer way to get some sort of realism in here. Now, I didn't actually put any doors on this. I kind of struggled trying to find something that's like the right kind of height and the right size. meant that this was quite difficult to actually get in to get that to all work. But anyway, that is that part of this all done. Now we are going to join this part over here, which is something I kind of said I wanted to get in for a little while now, and this is a kind of a picnicky area. So we have this little bit of space here, and I did think we could get this in with the chickens, but I thought that might get a little bit annoying. If anybody's kind of been to a farm, you kind of know that the chickens are going to kind of want to be up in your face a little bit more. They're going to want like food, they're going to want all of that. I thought it'd be better just to have them as a separate habitat. So that's what we're going to do in here. I have just given away what the next animal is, but oopsies, in here. And now we are working on the kind of fencing area here. So I kind of layered some stones around the edge here, and then put in some low level sort of buffalo grass. It just provides a nice little boundary. We do also have this hedgerow that's coming along here as well, and then got in a few little sort of stalls. So we have one food, one drink, and then we kind of have a kind of a cake, kind of sweet option, if you will, in here. I'm gonna be honest, that changes from where it is because it was not working. So I end up changing that out at a later date to make it a little bit easier and actually accessible, because although the path seemed to say it snapped to the path that I placed in, nobody was going to it, and I don't really know why. So I ended up sort of having to change it all out, and it actually made it simpler to have them how I did it anyway. But anyway, that's for later on in here. So we've got these 3 stores in here. I think this one's Chief Beef. We have a Pip Shop juice, and I think it's Benny's Bakes, or it might be the Sweet Treats one. It might be ice cream, actually, looking at that. In here, and yes, we've kind of got this nice little sort of kiosk sort of area here, so you can just kind of come up to here and grab a smoothie or a burger or whatever, sit down and have a bite to eat. Obviously we do also have the restaurant in this area, but that has very limited sort of seating options, and I felt like it was too limited. So we really needed something else kind of around here, and I thought if you're kind of bringing your family to this area, at least, maybe because you're only going to the Queen Family Farm, you're not going to do the rest of the zoo, you kind of need somewhere, maybe you would bring your own picnic, that kind of thing. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head, and so I thought this area here where you can bring your own food, but there's also options available for you if you don't, or maybe you run out of juice or something like that. It's a nice little area, and you don't have to trek all the way back to the sort of shop or to a restaurant to kind of get a bottle of water or something like that. A nice kind of family area where they can just kind of let the kids maybe out of the pushchairs, maybe just off the way, like they can just run around, and it's a little bit more of a safe zone where they're not, I mean, there's no gates, so they could obviously run away, but it's a little bit of a safer area. That's what I'm trying to say. They can be kids and just run around and not really disturb too much else in the zoo that way. That's what I'm trying to get at. Anyway, working on the front is now all done. So working on this sort of back section here is kind of a little behind the scenes kind of backstage area. I don't put too much in here, but I get in this sort of front wall to the back section, if that makes any sense, in here. So this is, we're going to have a nice window in here, so you can kind of be out the back, but you can still sort of see. So if you've got a customer, you can just pop out and deal with them. That's kind of what I was thinking in here as well. So yeah, maybe a little bit of a food prep kind of a space in there, and obviously we have some space that goes back. So this is kind of a bit of an odd shaped kind of area that we're working on today, because obviously we've got the round sort of dome for the educational areas, and then we've kind of got this kind of straight rectangle, but it kind of all fits together. And I do also put in the like, are you taller than a giraffe kind of how high measurement sort of things, like those things that we got a few updates ago, and I've got to be honest, I don't think I've ever used them. But you can sort of see them in the background on a few of them. I think there's a giraffe, a gorilla, is it what smells, or something to do with a smell, or paw prints or something like that. I have got all 4 of them along the front there, so I thought it would be a nice way sort of for the guests to have a little bit more education in there as well. So yes, this is kind of what we're working on, trying to get in something in here as well. A nice little tray for some foods. So obviously with this being a smoothie, you can have maybe like different options, and yeah, carrots, pineapple, well, why not? Why not indeed have lots of different options for you in there. I don't necessarily know, they don't have anywhere to kind of like make the kind of juices out here, but you know, it's all in your imagination of how this area works into here. And I also thought a nice little coffee cup, and that because maybe these people are working long hours and they want a break, and yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking in here. So we're grabbing some doors from another area to kind of make this all fit in nicely. Now they obviously are a different colour, but I think that actually kind of works because it gives it a nice sort of pop of colour in here as well. And yeah, so now we kind of add in some signage and stuff like that. So we've got the big sort of neon lights. I actually looked at getting a neon light recently, and it was like, I think it was like £20 or something, and I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that was just the deposit. Yeah, the rest of it, it was going to be like 400 or 500, possibly even like £600 for what I wanted, and I was like, yeah, it's not worth it. So if anyone has any like recommendations or any ideas or anything like that, definitely let me know, because I am interested. But yeah, it's something I've looked at in the past, but they're just so expensive, and so yeah. Anyhow, totally off topic. Totally off topic of what we're working on here. Anyway, now this is the point where I realised that I was not going to get it in at that kind of diamond kind of off-angled piece, so ended up having to change it into a straight line, which is fine. I don't think it looks too bad. Obviously it just means that a few things have to be changed and stuff like that, but that's not too bad. Okay, so putting in kind of this little roofing here, it was kind of full on face onto the sun, so I kind of needed something to kind of overhang here, and I didn't know what, and originally I was thinking, well, we could do it in plasterboard, but it just looked too thick. I thought, well, maybe thatched kind of roofing, kind of do it as like a little bit of a tiki bar. It was too thick, and so in the end I just kind of used these like wooden slats to kind of make like a little bit of a sunshade. I thought that would be a little bit nicer for the staff members in here, and obviously if you're a guest, it gives you a nice little overhang. Obviously it's not completely safe, but obviously no money would be kept in the till overnight. Everything would sort of be put away out of the way, so it's not too much of a sort of risk or a danger into there as well. And we sort of sort out the other roof at the end in here. But this is then me working on the back section, so the yes, just getting in all of this in here, and then it doesn't actually like clip through into the other build, so that's all fine when it's done in there. And yes, we now have a nice simple rectangle. Much easier to build with a rectangle, I have to be honest. Somebody remind me of that next time I try to build something crazy. Anyway, I feel like it's something that I'm always kind of like, I want to do something a little bit different, a little bit crazy, different shapes and stuff, and then I absolutely hate it. But anyhow, we have built a rectangle in here, and now we're going to start working on this sort of back section into here and getting lots of bits and pieces in for that. So we've kind of gotten the flooring down, and now kind of working out how we want this area to look. So I know we wanted lots of sort of shelving and lots of kind of cabinets in here, but we get in the lighting first of all. Now my go-to favourite is kind of these down lights in here. I have also been through the zoo and placed like street lights and things like that around the place, so you'll sort of see all of that when we do our tour, which is coming up very, very soon once we have finished this whole area. As promised, I am going to give you a full tour of the whole zoo, and then yeah, we also have the exciting news of Planet Coaster 2 coming out soon. Now I don't know exactly when. Obviously it says fall of 24, but that could literally be like October. It could also be November. Like, there's so many, like, it's such a wide range. So what I was thinking is I'm gonna try and speed these videos up a little bit so that we're kind of done, but also knowing how much we have left to go. If I do a video every other week, which I think is probably going to be the schedule I'm going to go for, at least attempt to, but don't hold me to it, if I'm being fair. We still have videos set to go until I think it's like January, February time. So what I'm likely to do is kind of push on with hopefully this like 1-to-1 sort of ratio, and then kind of maybe go to a 3. So have a Sims 4 video, a Planet Zoo video, and a Planet Coaster 2 video. Now, all Planet Coaster videos will come with a point to say I am rubbish at it. It may well be a case that we play it once or twice here on the channel, and maybe we do like a mini park or something like that. But I am rubbish at kind of roller coasters or any kind of track rides or anything like that. So yeah, I didn't do very well in Planet Coaster 1, or you might have noticed in any of the zoos we've done, there's not been any track rides or anything like that. Even the ones that I've done on Twitch, things like that, I'm just rubbish at it, and I just don't understand how it all works and things like that. So I've kind of purposely not done them. However, I'm not really sure that's going to be an option. So we will have to sort of see how we go on for that. But I am super excited. I am loving some of the features that they are bringing to Planet Coaster 2, like the plazas, kind of the pools, kind of the part where you can attach scenery to like the rides and stuff like that. That seems really cool, and things like that. But anyway, let's get back to the video at hand. What am I doing right now? Well, right now I'm building a sandpit because, you know. So I kind of had this weird, strange idea in my head that, you know what, if we're kind of doing a picnic area in a family area of a zoo, we kind of need a play area. So you kind of saw me creating earlier on a kind of climbing sort of stepping beams, which is okay. I've got a few that are quite small, but the other ones are like huge. Anyhow, here is my raccoon. Do not cringe. So I saw somebody else do one of these where it had like a head kind of in it, and I could not find the statue that they used. So I was scrolling for so long and I came across the raccoon and I just had to place it down. It's the best I could do. So you kind of have a flattened raccoon, and then using these kind of decal pieces, which are actually the moss, but you can change the colour on them so they look kind of like this wet, sort of sandy kind of texture in here. And then using the trowels and the small buckets just in different colours, I thought they looked like little sandcastle buckets and things like that. that you could have in there as well. And now we're doing something for maybe the more adventurous kind of children. Maybe they're slightly older. In here, lots of kind of parks have these kind of like climbing frames. I remember as a kid kind of playing on this sort of thing in here, and so I thought, well, let's get one of those in. So you can kind of see I've had one attempt, and now we're on to attempt number 2 of getting this to work in here. But while we're watching this, we're coming to the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, then please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You all mean so very much to me. And yeah, thank you all for watching. You can obviously follow me here, but you can also follow me on pretty much all social media as well. The links to those are down below, so do check those out. And yeah. I'm not going to ask you the question that I normally do of what animal we're doing next, because I told you earlier on. But if you can remember, comment down below. Your feedback also means so much. It's good to kind of get your feedback of what you're liking, what you're not liking, any kind of tips or tricks or things like that that you want me to improve or change or do something like that. Do definitely let me know. But yes. Right, I have waffled enough for today. I shall leave you here with the screenshots, and I will see you all again really soon. But until then, stay happy and stay building. Bye everyone.